Hello, back again. And in this tutorial, we will follow up from our previous tutorial. And in this tutorial, what we will discuss is that how we can move this character. So if we check this character, previously it was running along this direction and it would stop when we would press E key. So whenever E key is pressed, it would stop the running animation, and no longer it would increment its forward position. So again, to summarize the position concept, every game object, this is the one game object, this is the second game object. So it's sitting in this 3D world and has its own transform or has its own coordinates. So in the world axis, this if for parent game object, this are the x and y and z component, which is the direction position of this component, transform component. So every game object including camera, light will come with its transform component. So in this virtual 3D unity world, if you got to move it forward along its blue vector, which is z direction, if you see it in a gizmo, this direction is z direction. If you press on it, it would make it clear. So to move it along its z direction, what you got to do is what we did was we manipulated its vector, its move speed, and multiplied it with Vector3.forward. And as you can see, it is x is 0, y is 0, and z is 1. So what this meant was it would move it along the z direction, that is the blue direction. So whenever we pressed our W key, what happened was the character would start going in this direction. E would stop it, that is E would stop our character going forward at any time. And now what was next in this our player movement script was that we got to move it along these axes, which is left and right. So this left and right comes in this axis, which is red, which is x-axis, as you can see highlighted in the red thing. So we will, when we move this, as you can see with the arrow, x is being manipulated. So what we will do is we will head back to our script, and just to show you, we will copy this line, this Vector3.forward line, and instead of Vector3.forward, we will press dot after Vector3 pressed, and instead of Vector3 being forward, we select right. And as you can see, right is exactly what we wanted, that is x. We want to manipulate x position of our transform component. So this is 1, so rest are 0 0, so they won't be affected. Only the one that is on the right, that is the right identity vector, will be manipulated. So how we will so if we place it directly in our update, what it will do is after every time delta time, this transform dot position will be altered in the right direction. So if you see, if you press again, so this, if you see, when it goes in the right direction, our character, again right and left are pretty much subjective, but if we compare it with the gizmo x, y, and z, then the direction would be little clear, that what I mean by right. So this is right, and when we press play, it should move in this direction by default without doing anything, that is pressing any key or anything. It didn't, because I didn't save the script. So I will save the script, and again, saving the script is very important. If you will keep forgetting, then you will need to save again. Now as you can see, the moment we played, it started moving along the y-axis. So now this is being done correctly, or this is not being done. So if you want to move it in this direction, we can simply we will simply do this vector3 dot left, and you can play it, it will go in the other direction. That is, it will go in this direction. This is vector3 dot left, and this is dot right. So if we play it now, it will go in this right direction. So as you can see that our right and left is working fine. However, what we want is whenever the right key is pressed, our character should go this way, right key, and whenever this is left is pressed, it should go the other way. So to address this, what we will do is simply use Input.GetAxis, and this has two keys horizontal. Sorry, Input.GetAxis is horizontal. So whenever right key is pressed, or this key A or D, sorry, D is for right and A is for left. So whenever this is pressed, it will automatically take the forward direction and it will play it. So adding just this line, and I will put this here as a, this is the explanation. So what it does is horizontal will return a value between 0 and 1, and if it's between 0 and 1, then depending upon how many times it's pressed, so if it's pressed a little, it will move a little to the right side, since we are manipulating vector3 dot right. And if it's pressed in opposite direction, that is left key is pressed, then this horizontal value will, instead of returning positive value, it will return negative value, and when multiplied, vector3 dot right will become vector3, the whole position will become negative, and the transfer position will start to move on this direction. So our Input.GetAxis will do the heavy lifting for us, and will return positive value when we press right key, and will return negative value when we press left key, and in result our character will move for the time it's being pressed. So without further ado, let's save this first, and now if we press play, now if we press play, you can see our character is standing right, but when I press W key, oh sorry, when I press right arrow, it moved in a right direction. When we pressed left key, it moved in left direction. Again, just this line attached to any script will move your game object, whatever game object you have this line on, a script with this line on will move your character in that direction, respectively, left or right. Again, if you are a animation freak, what you can do is download a separate animations from Mixamo from left or right character, and play that, such as the shoulders slanting on the left and shoulders slanting on the right. But for this tutorial sake, we will not do that. But instead, what we will do is try to move this character forward and backward, and then we will head over to our next tutorial. Again, if you want to break it, you can simply replace it with this thingy. I will copy it and you can paste it in. Again, these bunch of lines does the similar code, does a similar thing to this thing that I have pasted right now, and I will comment it out. so you can have a better idea. So instead of this one line, if you don't want to use Input.GetAxis horizontal, you will have to separately watch for the key being pressed, A or left arrow, and then if A or left arrow is pressed, then you have to use Vector3.left, and the rest of the code remains the same. And if the right arrow key is pressed, then this code is being used. So if you want to play this, you can play this as well, but since this one liner does the job perfectly, so I will comment out these extra lines, and I will save it here. So in this next tutorial, we will play with collider as, and so when the collider will be pressed, it wouldn't be able to move more than a certain thing. So this is this collider thingy, and this is what we will check in next tutorial. Thank you.